What's up everybody, this is BR, and today I want to talk about the debate over devices and their accessibility. What made me really think about this discussion topic really has to do with the Steam Deck. I've had my reservation for a while, and while I'm still waiting for the email to come by telling me that my reservation is ready to be delivered, I actually considered gifting mine to a family member since I didn't really think I was going to get much use out of it, and they would appreciate having a dedicated console to play their Steam library on, compared to their cheap computers. But while I was thinking about that, I actually considered something else. Looking at the many Steam Deck videos, I realized that the Steam Deck really isn't as intuitive as I would have thought. One of the problems that I noticed that had to do with intuitiveness had to be with controls. Unlike a standard game console, there really isn't a standard method of controlling games on Steam. I mean, sure, you do have the default Xbox 360 controller configurations for most games, but if you really want to make use of the Steam Deck's capabilities, like with its trackpads and gyro sensor, there's a lot to be desired. But, I mean, that really isn't that much of an issue, and I don't think that would be such a deal breaker. But at the same time, I don't imagine my family member ever messing around with the configurations of controls just like I would for hours on end. They would expect the game to just work out of the box after downloading. And then that just made me think about almost everything else. Other things having to do with tinkering also come to mind. I think the Steam Deck really is a modular device and I praise it all for it. But I really don't think that the deck would really fare well with somebody who has a minimal understanding of a PC, let alone not knowing anything about the Steam Deck. So now I turn my head to all the comments talking about how the Steam Deck is a direct upgrade from the Nintendo Switch, and it really made me think about the bigger picture here. I started thinking about a lot of the debates that I've always had about other devices, such as PCs versus Mac, or Linux versus Windows, or even something as old as PC versus console. And I also thought about all the times that I called PC objectively better, totally disregarding all the times that I've had to deal with a blue screen of death and not knowing what the hell was going on, or devices just not working when I plugged it into the computer, or updates that required me to reset Windows, or even having to reinstall Windows because something got corrupted and I couldn't repair it with the Windows tools. I mean, I imagine it as a nuisance for me, but I can only imagine it as a hellscape for anybody else who just doesn't like tinkering with computers. I mean, I find joy over fixing my computer every now and then, of course, but someone who just uses a PC as a workspace and sometimes occasionally as a gaming space would find something like this detrimental rather than objectively better. And it really made me retroactively appreciate consoles. In fact, I've even considered buying an Xbox 360 from a secondhand market because, well, I kind of wanted to play a lot of those games that have been available for split screen that are not available for split screen on PC. Most notably, Black Ops 2. Dude, I would love to play Black Ops 2 split screen again. Especially with my friends now that COVID is ending and now we're free to do whatever we want at each other's houses without the stigma. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about stigma, well, I live in California. I mean, just thinking about how easy it would be to take it from one place to another just by plugging it in. That's not saying that consoles don't have problems of their own. I'm sure everybody remembers the Red Ring of Death. But having a dedicated game console that doesn't suffer the same tinkering issues with PCs definitely goes back to that discussion about the Steam Deck versus the Nintendo Switch. And it made me think about how maybe not all devices have to be fully tinkerable. Look, I'm appreciative of all the work that a lot of the technological guys have been doing around the world having to do with open internet, open software, open hardware, and all of the like. But now I kind of disagree specifically with having all devices be tinkerable. Some things really should just leave the end user with only the options on how to use the device as it was intended. I mean, how many times have you heard of the stories of people deleting System 32? I mean, it would definitely be a lot better if that just wasn't possible by the average Joe. So in conclusion, when I think about the debate between PCs and consoles, or in this modern case, Steam Deck versus Nintendo Switch, I think the real pragmatic answer is just, they were meant for different audiences. And the Steam Deck is nowhere near a replacement for the Nintendo Switch, nor is it objectively better. Both devices can definitely live in the same market, they're just meant for different people. And maybe one day Valve will actually create that Steam Deck that is more accessible to the average Joe, or at the very least keep the default untinkerable, so that if you were to give a brand new Steam Deck to somebody, it wouldn't require anything more than just a Steam login, But tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think that maybe this debate really is just kind of pointless rabble and just part of a superiority complex of sorts? Or do you think it really is necessary to have a debate of whether or not some devices are better than others because of how accessible it is? If you like this video, like it if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it. If you found this video interesting and would like to see more content just like it, make sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.